You've made it to week 3 of our Automation Foundations Bot Camp. This week, we're focused on working our way towards a full automation project build. Now, before we get to where we're going though, I want to do a super brief recap to talk about where we've been. Last week, our focus was a deeper dive into the pillars of problem solving: sequence, selection, and repetition. Remember that sequence is the order of our actions, while selection is our conditional statements or our if statements that enable us to only take action if a defined condition resolves to true. And then finally, we jumped into repetition, and we said that repetition enables us to set up looping, to perform actions over and over again until a condition has been satisfied. We did exercises for each of these sessions that enabled us to see how these concepts are reflected in real automation builds. I hope you were able to follow along with those exercises, because we'll be continuing to build on this concept in our projects for this week. Now, our focus this week is starting to take those concepts we learned previously and bring them together to start solving real problems. In our first session for the week, we're going to learn how repetition and selection can be used together to take action on only some iterations of a loop. We'll be introducing this concept that we're calling nesting, and we'll do an interesting exercise that will help us to reinforce that nesting concept. That will give us all the skills that we need to start moving into our first full automation project. Now, before you get all panicky on me, this is a fully guided automation build. We're going to do it together from start to finish, all the way from understanding the problem that we're trying to solve, to mapping it out, to then adding the automation logic to make it all happen. We'll also do some testing along the way to make sure that our automation works. Guided builds like this are a great way to have some introduction into breaking down problems and translating that breakdown into automation logic. Learning how someone else thinks about a problem and then turns that into a solution can be a really helpful exercise as you compare their breakdown to your own. This is especially helpful as you start to define the real business processes that you want to automate on your own. So let's talk about this week's action plan. Our action plan looks pretty similar to what we've seen before. You've got the course list for the week, so please make sure to take time and go through any of the courses as well as the recommended homework exercises. Now, as a big point of emphasis, and this is going to make me sound like a broken record, plan to be hands-on as you go through each session. I cannot stress enough how important it is to be building along with us as you go through this training. Just like a baseball player swinging a bat or a basketball player shooting free throws, you're building muscle memory, or a mind-muscle automation connection in this case, as you put some of these concepts into a full automation build. Now, finally, if you haven't already, please take a moment and go and engage with others who are going through this training in our Pathfinder community. We've had great engagement there so far, and you'll likely find helpful answers to common questions, or you may have an interesting perspective to offer that no one has thought of yet or no one shared. So please take some time to go and connect with others. There's a really interesting camaraderie going on there where people are holding each other accountable, and it's really awesome to see. All right. That's enough for me for this week. I'm excited for you to get into some of these builds and get your hands on these concepts. Thanks for watching, and until next time, go be great.